Happy Diwali, friends! Today we'll be painting this diya in a simple and easy way. First, I'm sketching out the diya right here. As you can see, these are simple, easy steps. You can follow along as I draw it. So, today we are trying to focus on creating light and shadow alongside having negative painting, which will enhance the light and luminosity of the diya as we paint. So once you've sketched the diya, I am trying to draw lines which are supposed to be a little darker and have shadows. This is the light. We will try and keep it simple with less is more as an idea. Also define the shadows here. The sketch is ready. Now I'm going to use burnt sienna and quin gold. Both are Daniel Smith pigments, and I'm also going to use a little bit of Hansa Yellow and phthalo blue and a little bit of Indian yellow. So I'll start with using quin gold to do the base color of the diya. We are trying to have a little depth where we exaggerate the shadows so that the light effect is more prominent. Once you have the base layer with quin gold, now we'll go in with burnt sienna to paint on the other side, which is towards the dark. As you can see, I've taken a strong pigment. I am trying to just go wet on wet, but there is very little water in my brush so that I can control the pigment and how it flows. Do not rush this process because lifting paint will not give you the kind of curved diya and a cylinder, not a cylindrical, like a depth of an oval shape or a roundish shape. So try and keep your brush with minimal water while you paint this, and be gentle and be slow when you do it. You don't need to rush this process. I'm using burnt sienna mainly because it is granulating and I want that effect on the diya. So we celebrate Diwali as a festival of light. So there will be a lot of diyas everywhere in every Indian household, and this is a biggest or the most prominent reflection of Diwali in every household. I'm trying to keep my brush with minimum water, as you can see. Now I'm going in with Indian yellow and a little bit of Hansa yellow to paint the bright side of the diya where the light will hit. And now this creates the depth for the diya. And since the diya has a curved and it's handmade, it will have some inconsistency. There will be some lines, cracks, so those are also exaggerated here. Now when you light a diya, there is a little bit of bluish tone to the bottom of the flame. That's what I'm going to use, phthalo blue, for that. You could use whatever blue you have, preferably towards the green side. And now I'm going to border the flame with yellow. When the diya shines bright, the center part looks almost white, and we want to keep it and preserve the white of the paper. Now I'm going to paint the base. I'm going to take quin gold and paint the base. This is the table on which the diya is sitting. I will also eventually mix raw umber to create a wooden effect and not like a brick effect. So first layer is quin gold because I also want to keep the luminosity and the light. So I will preserve this as we paint along. Before we start with the next layer, I'm going to paint with Hansa Yellow. The reflection of the light is going to be right under the flame. So first I'm going to go in with the Hansa Yellow and paint the reflection of the light, and as it disperses it is going to leave an orange effect. So I'm going to go with Indian yellow to extend the luminosity and the reflection of light. If you don't have Indian yellow, you could use transparent orange or any other orange that you have. Even gamboge will work. I'm taking in a little bit of raw umber and mixing it with quin gold. To paint the dark part of the table where the light is farther from. Under the lamp it will be the darkest, so I plan to paint it with indigo. We'll come to that in a bit. As you can see, I'm going slow with my strokes, but I'm trying to create more depth and light and shadow effect so that the light really shines through. I went in with a burnt sienna, which was a little too dark for the area, so I am going to mix raw umber with it, and with my clean brush I'm trying to spread out the pigment. Since my paper is still wet, I'm able to move the pigment around. Here I'm using indigo for the base, which is going to be the darkest because the shadow of the diya is going to create they say that the shadow is the darkest under the diya because the light is completely obstructed. I'm using the mixture that we created with burnt sienna and raw umber to paint the shadow. Excuse me. At this point, I really want to emphasize on two things. One is the right kind of paper and the brush that you pick for this painting. I'm using silver black velvet brush. It has amazing tip, and I'm able to paint this whole painting with one brush because it has water holding capacity, it has a great tip, and it is a lovely brush to kind of accomplish watercolor results. And for the paper, this is 100% cotton paper by Bao Hong. I recommend 100% cotton paper for painting and to get the effects that you want, the best effects and the best results that you want, because you're able to manipulate watercolor very easily if you use the right paper. I'm able to lift, I'm able to blend on the paper, the water gets absorbed very fast, so I'm able to work wet on wet for a longer time. So all these advantages of having a good paper weigh far more than having a cheaper paper or a pulp paper, or and getting results that frustrate you. So I cannot emphasize more or recommend using 100% cotton paper. So as you see now, I am painting the background with oxide black. You can use lunar black to, now this is a negative painting that I'm doing. I am creating a background which is dark to emphasize the light of the lamp. I am not painting the light or the wick of the lamp with any color. It is, we've kept it with paper white. We've preserved the paper white for the luminosity, but I'm painting around it with a darker color to create that effect of luminosity. So that is something that really attracted me to this reference, and which is what I wanted to kind of bring forth. Even the Diwali is celebration of light, celebration of goodness, celebration of everything that glows, and we don't look at negative energies or negative things today. I am painting a second layer while my paper is still wet. If your paper has dried up or is partially drying, wait for it to completely dry, re-wet it and go back in. Do not paint over it while it is partially dried, otherwise you will end up with uh, hard lines and weird bloom effects. I love this oxide black also because it is also granulating color, and it gives a little more texture and drama. It adds drama to the painting. So I really like that, which is why I heavily use this color. I know a lot of watercolor artists stay away from blacks and whites, but this has become my personal favorite for the backgrounds, mostly because of the granulation that it gives. Now I'm going in and painting some details, some hard lines, so that the diya looks a little more real and more in shape, the roundishness that I need for the diya. Do you see, it's the background. The moment we painted the background, there is sudden pop of color and there is sudden brightness. These small details make huge difference to your painting. I'm mixing raw umber and the quin gold to paint some more details on the lamp. Just a few irregularities will make it look more real. I find this part very therapeutic, and you just go with the flow and enjoy every bit of putting in the details. These small things make your painting come to life, but make sure that you have less water in your brush, because if there is a lot of water, they will create blooms on the painting. Now I'm going to paint the wick. The brush is a little too difficult to paint with because it's very tiny detail, so I'm going to paint with this calligraphy pen. If you have a number 2 brush, you could do it with that, because you just want to indicate there is a wick. You don't need to paint much details there. Now I'm going to redo the Hansa Yellow for the glow of the light, and then go around it with Indian Yellow for the orange effect. And that's it. I'm going with another coat of oxide black to create a little more drama to the painting and bring forth the lamp and create more depth. Now you see, the moment I painted this, the lamp looks a little more forward, and I wanted that effect where it feels like the background is far behind. This is the final step to our painting. Be careful around the light. You do not want to lose the paper white now at this stage. If you want to create a little more drama to this painting, you can splatter a little bit of water on it. And this brings us to the end of our painting. We will all sign our paintings with our respective names. Wish you a very happy Diwali, and thank you for painting along with me. Please do feel free to share your paintings with me over an email or on Instagram at Pritee Gupta Art. I would love to see your paintings and cheer you on. Thank you.